everybody. Today I'm going to review RIDGID's brand new Gen 5X half-inch hammer drill, model R8611503. Now I got this as part of a larger 5-piece toolkit that I did a preview video on, but today I solely want to focus on the hammer drill. And what I'm going to do is give you some closer-up looks at it. We're going to go over the different features, and then I'm going to do extensive runtime as well as performance testing, so we'll be able to see the amount of work we can get done on just one battery charge. Now the hammer drill's set up pretty much like the impact driver as far as the rubber overmolds and protections go. And then they do have those dual switches. So the trigger on the top is going to activate the chuck as well as the LED light. And then they have that separate button on the bottom that will only activate the LED light. Switching between hammer mode, driving mode, and drilling mode is very simple, and it's also ambidextrous. So whether you're left or right-handed, they do have this built into both sides. And you can see right here, we can switch it very easily. And if we turn it around, the same thing is going to be on the other side. So that's actually connected to both sides, and if you move one, it is going to move the other. Changing the clutch settings is very simple. This large ring on the top will allow you to fine-tune it. So really whatever you're working on, if you don't want to strip a screw out or you're working with something very small or maybe something very large, you can fine-tune that. And then when you do switch it to drill mode, of course, it's going to override the clutch settings and give it full power. Now the other thing I want to point out is the fact that they do have the LED light actually built into the chuck on this, and it gives you a very unique effect as far as 360 degrees of light go. This is a half-inch chuck with carbide teeth. But what I want to show you now is the actual LED function inside the chuck. When we pull the trigger, you can see it does look like a light ring. And when we let off of it, you can see there are 3 different LED strips built into there that will give you a very good lighting effect, and it's not going to cast any shadows as you use this. Now, although the drill does have up to 780 inch-pounds of torque, you're only going to get that much when it's on speed mode 1, which is going to be the low speed or high torque setting, and also being on the drill mode, which is going to look just like a little drill bit. If we flip that down and it looks like a screw, that's going to be driver mode, and then one below that looks like a hammer, that's going to be hammer mode whenever you want to drill into masonry or concrete. Now what I'm actually going to do is show you how we can regulate the power by using this clutch that's going to turn left to right. And what we can do is actually cut the power back from the 780 inch-pounds much lower, and it's going to allow us to screw in some very small brass screws without stripping them out. And what I'm actually going to do is screw 2 of these in. The first one's going to be with regulating the power when it's actually on driver mode. And then the second one, I'm actually going to switch that up to standard drill mode, which is going to be maximum power. And you're going to see the major difference in control as well as performance. What we're actually going to see when I do this is that when we regulate the power, the screw is going to stop at the surface of the wood. And when I put on full power, I'm really not going to be able to control it very well, and it's going to sink the screw below the surface or even possibly strip it out. For the first screw, I do have it on driver mode, and I have the clutch level set at 16. It is on speed mode 1, and I'm going to hold the trigger in until the clutch stops turning. And you can see it did make it flush with the top of the wood with no effort at all because it automatically killed power to the chuck. Now I'm going to switch that up to drill mode, which is going to be unregulated power, and I'll hold the trigger in again. And you can see I did let off of it as soon as it hit the surface, and it still continued down. But let's say I didn't let off the trigger that fast, it'll continue to go down into the wood. So that's where that precision mode or the driver mode is really going to come in handy. When you don't want to strip out or sink fasteners too deep, it's pretty much going to prevent you from being able to do that. Now using a 3/4 inch self-feeding spade bit, I'm going to put this on speed mode 2, which is going to be the high speed setting. And what I'll do is go ahead and drill holes into 2x material. What we're looking for is to see if this will stall out, if the battery's going to overheat. And then we're also going to get a runtime test to see how many holes we can get on one 4.0 amp hour battery charge. Okay, it made it fully through 150 holes, and on the 151st hole, the battery finally died. To test the metal drilling performance of the RIDGID, I did just put a 3/16 metal drilling bit in the chuck, and we're going to knock a hole through this square tube. Now using a 3/8 inch masonry bit, let's see how fast it can drill through hollow block. And now using that same bit, let's see how it's going to do drilling into solid block. Now when dealing with a low light or no light situation such as this, because the chuck does have that 360-degree LED ring built in, it is going to provide you with 360 degrees of light, and you're not going to have to be dealing with any shadows. So you can see we can line our screw up, go ahead and screw it in, and then we can make sure we hit the mark right correctly. Now alternatively, if we were drilling a hole, let's say in a dark situation like this, because there would be no shadows being cast, and that light is going to provide great illumination around the work surface, you're going to be able to hit the mark right correctly the first time. Now let's see how many 1.5 inch holes it can make with this self-feed wood bit through a 2x6. Well, there you go. It made it through 75 holes, and on the 76th hole, the battery finally died. Now, because the RIDGID does have the hammer drill function, what we can do is install brackets into cinder block or maybe even a concrete floor or ceiling very easily, such as this EMT conduit hanger. What I'm going to do is actually drill a hole into this solid block, and then using the Tapcon installation tool, we're going to take a Tapcon screw and attach it. And there you go, that's how easy it is to attach a bracket to a block wall using the RIDGID and Hammer mode along with that Tapcon installation tool. And finally, for an extreme test, I'm going to put this 4 1/4 inch hole saw through this 2x6. So now you've seen RIDGID's brand new Gen5X Hammer Drill for yourself. This thing has a lot of power, and the runtime honestly surprised me when you factor in that it's not a brushless tool. We were able to get 150 holes using that 3/4 inch spade bit, and then 75 holes using the 1.5 inch self-feeding wood bit on just one battery charge. Now, because this is a RIDGID tool, it is going to be covered by their lifetime service agreement, so as long as you do register it when you buy it, they are going to give you free batteries, free parts, and free service for life. Now, these are going to be available at the Home Depot and the Home Depot online later this month, being March of 2015. And I got to tell you, it is a big upgrade over their Gen 4s, and I think you're really going to be happy with the power and performance that you're going to get out of this. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.